Valley Talk on News Talk 1580 KGAL.
And a very good morning. I'm Dave Adams. Glad to have you with us on Valley Talk today. And it is the 18th of September. A beautiful day as the fall weather and the leaves are starting to turn color here in the Mid-Willamette Valley. You know, this is my first fall here in the Mid-Willamette Valley, and I love the colors of the leaves, and I'm sure it's going to get even much more beautiful.
This is the last Tuesday of summer.
Oh. Yeah. And the leaves are turning. It's
hard to believe.
That time of the year. Hey, thanks for being with us on Valley Talk today. We've got three things we're going to be talking about. First of all, Janet Steele is in our studio. You just heard her a moment ago. She's the president of the Albany Area Chamber of Commerce, and they've been busy. In fact, they've got something going on tonight called Business After Hours, a chance for businesses to get together and network and meet and greet and kind of share what's going on in their different businesses. Business extravaganza coming up. We're going to be talking about that, as well as young professionals and the Chamber of Commerce's position in the Albany area on Measures 84 and Measures 79. Also, hopefully today, we're going to be having Mike McCarter, who will be in our studios. He was scheduled yesterday, but there was a conflict in his schedule, so he didn't show up, so we rescheduled him for today. Going to talk about the sight-in days at the Albany Pistol and Gun Club. And, of course, John Gibson, you heard him just a moment ago. We're going to be talking about the economy, the unrest in the Middle East, what's going on. I believe you also went out and did some surveying of your own as far as electric cars.
Yes, the charging station at Walgreens has never been used. And even though the gentleman, Brooke at Walgreens, was wonderful, she answered all my questions. Joseph at the Chevy dealership there in Lebanon on Main Street, if you need a car, go see Joseph. He answered all my questions. It takes 10 hours to charge the car at home. It takes 4 hours at the Walgreens station. And you can go 38 miles on electric only. So like I live in Hidden Valley, I could go 5 miles to Safeway and 5 miles home and not use a drop of gas and then recharge the battery. Or you can go 38 miles, or you get 38 miles to the gallon on gas only. But it charges itself up. You know, it's like a Prius. When you brake, it recharges. So, you know, it's only if you only go, I didn't understand why you had to charge it up if it was electric, you know, but it's only if you only go on an electric car. So it's $48,100. Wow.
Okay, well, we're talking about, he's not, as you can imagine, he is not a huge fan of electric cars.
No. They just don't make cost-effective sense. I mean, I'm sorry. And, you know.
Well, we'll be talking about that here in just a second. First of all, Janet Steele of the Albany Area Chamber of Commerce, president of the organization. Thanks for being with us on Valley Talk today.
Nice to be here.
Let's talk about Business After Hours. What is Business After Hours, and where's it going to be happening tonight?
Business After Hours is more or less a gathering, a networking opportunity for anywhere from 60 to 120 of our members to get together. It is after hours, after work. So from 5:15 to 7 o'clock, 10 months out of the year, we have a business after hours at a different location. And tonight's location is at Extreme Graphics down there in downtown Albany. Extreme Graphics from 5:15 to 7 will be having food, drink. They've got a band, and I'm sure there will be a great crowd there. It's an opportunity for Extreme Graphics and any business that hosts a business after hours to showcase their workplace, what it is they do, show people the latest, like tonight, in signage and all the different things that Arthur and his crew is able to do. So it's a fun event. It's after hours, and we have a good time.
I don't know if you've ever attended, but they're a hoot.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you see everybody. It's like a family reunion kind of thing where you see everybody that you know, but they're all together. So you can like just spend the whole time just going around going, hey man, I haven't seen you for a while.
Right.
Yeah. The thing I like about Business After Hours is a chance for what's called networking, where businesses to get together and, you know,
build connections, build business.
Have a chance to converse and actually talk, because during the business day, everybody's so busy. Business After Hours, they can, you know, get a cool beverage and, you know, Coke or soda pop or whatever is there, and just talk.
Right.
And have a chance to share ideas.
And this is the kickoff of the season, so we don't do them in July and August. So this is bringing us back together after a summer of planning what we're doing for the next year. But the Chamber of Commerce really kicks off all its programs in September, and we run September through June, and then July and August we hunker down and start planning again. So Arthur is kicking it off with
Get down to work. Do you have to be a chamber member to attend?
You don't. You pay a little bit higher fee if you're a non-member, but you don't have to be a chamber member to be there.
So what is the fee if you're a non-member to attend?
The fee if you're a non-member to attend is, let's see, $10.
$10. So
You get it back in food, man.
oh, very much so.
Yeah.
So come on down tonight. Again, the location and the time.
Extreme Graphics, 5:15 till 7.
And if you've always wanted to look inside of that graphics place and see just how they do the banners and all the signage and so on and so forth, come on down tonight.
Very interesting.
Art's a great guy. He always gets hit up for all the free stuff, you know.
He's a great guy. He's been involved here at KGAL and other businesses as well.
Yeah.
Business Extravaganza is another event that's coming up on the 26th, I believe.
Right, next a week from Wednesday, a week from tomorrow. This is our 18th Business Extravaganza that we've done every year. It's usually the third or fourth week in September. This year it's the last week in September. It starts off at 11:30 with a kickoff membership forum where we will have between 250 and 350 people there for lunch. And this year's speaker is Craig Hanneman. And Craig is a former OSU football player, NFL star, but he's also a local boy, born and raised here, went to our local schools, and then worked for Willamette and Weyerhaeuser Industries in the logging industry, in forestry products. And he's really coming in to talk, though, about his recent trip in May in climbing Mount Everest. So he, at the age of 62, he climbed Mount Everest, did a unique had a unique and wonderful experience that very few of us will ever do. So Craig's
or ever want to do.
Yeah. So not only has he had an interesting life in all the other experiences he's had, but now just this year he's climbed Mount Everest. So it should be a very interesting conversation with him.
Very interesting. And the thing I like about that, there's so much similarities you can draw between climbing Mount Everest and running and operating and maybe even starting a business today. There's a lot of challenges out there.
Yeah.
And so maybe we can draw encouragement from him on overcoming difficulties and challenges and
I imagine
climb that
that's
mountain.
I mean, you would have to overcome a lot to get to base camp and then to climb up. So I'm sure there's a lot of things he will be able to impart. So, but that's the kickoff for our then trade show, the Business Extravaganza. And we have, I think it's 105 different businesses right now that will be in attendance at the extravaganza. So it's an opportunity for the public to come out and see the products and services of local businesses, what they have to offer, what you can buy, what they can provide for you. And even if you're not buying on the 26th, it's something that you'll get familiar with those products and services, get to know the business owners and their key employees. So it's just a great way. ATI Watching will be there. They always are there to say, here, we are a contributing part of the public. Here, we want you to know what it is that we do out there in Millersburg. And then the very small businesses, the 1 or 2 person operations are there too.
I see one of your sponsors is Mega Foods on the billboard thingy.
Mega Foods is one of the businesses that is there.
Okay, now they were at Lebanon's last time.
Free food
Did you see the food outlay that they had?
I didn't go to Lebanon's.
Oh my!
They do.
It was incredible. I mean, the outlay of food that they had there, and it was like, I just stood there like Homer Simpson. You know,
we have 8 different food vendors plus some others like Mega Foods that will offer free food and free drink throughout the day. So there's free door prizes, there's free admission, obviously, there's free food and drink. So there's a lot of free things to come out, but it's an opportunity again for the public to come out and see what we have. What's so exciting about local businesses in the Albany area.
And it's very important to support your local businesses because they employ the local people, and the local people are what we need to have this community. They are the engine of the economy. Small businesses, the engine of the U.S. economy.
They are. In Oregon specifically, there's probably a good 90% of businesses are small business. And when I say small business, I'm speaking 25 employees or under, and then you get to some of the smaller communities, and that may even be 10 employees and under. So you get the Portland metro area, a small business is going to be larger, but here in the Albany area, at least 85% of our membership probably has 15 employees or less.
So
small business.
Small business
they
is
make
very,
the world
very
go
important.
around.
And one of the things I like about events like Business Extravaganza is you get a chance to see what's available locally. You may be buying a service or something out of the area. You go to this event and you think, I didn't know they had one of those here.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes small business doesn't have the marketing budget to do what big business does. And so this really is a great way for a small fee. They're able to come in and we're able to help them showcase what they have to offer.
Okay, so again, Business Extravaganza, the 26th of this month.
At Lynn County Fair and Expo Center. We take up the whole Willamette Events Center. And at 11:30, we have lunch that is served with Greg Hanneman as our speaker, and then the doors open at 1 o'clock and go from 1 to 6:30 for the trade show.
Okay, and more information can be had by calling the Albany Area Chamber of Commerce. What's your website?
www.albanychamber.com.
Okay, so check it out. This is Valley Talk, and we're going to be talking more with Janet Steele here in just a moment. We do want to mention that what we're doing now is we are video recording Valley Talks, all the Valley Talk shows, and including John Gibson isn't too excited about it, but that's okay.
I keep trying to hide.
Well, you can tell by his shirt that he's wearing today that he wasn't expecting to be video recorded.
I have a great story about it if we had a chance, but never mind.
Okay. So you can see that online, and you'll be able to listen to it live on KGAL. Also listen to it on the website afterwards. In the past, what we've done is we've archived the MP3 audio files. But because of a change of what we've done, we decided, well, let's just video record it, and then you can watch it. So, for example, if you're on Valley Talk, you can go home and see what you look like while you were talking on the radio.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man.
So you can do that at kgal.com. And so we are going to be video recording all of the Valley Talk shows in the future and put them on our website. Mike McCarter is here. Mike, thanks for joining us today. And he's going to be on the second part of Valley Talk, so stay tuned for that. I'm Dave Adams, and the program will continue in just a moment.
Celebrate a synergy of music and dance with Eugene Ballet Company's popular rock ballet, Dark Side of the Moon. October 5th at the LaSalle Stewart Center on the campus of OSU. Light Rain, interpreting the youthful energy of the early 1980s, will also be performed. This program will sell out, so call 541-682-5000 or stop by Gracewood's Music in Corvallis, Sid Stevens Jewelers in Albany, or eugeneballet.org for tickets to Dark Side of the Moon.
Banking these days can be pretty impersonal. You've got your big banks, your internet banks, your do-it-yourself banks, and your too-big-to-fail banks. That's why you might be interested in an alternative, Willamette Community Bank. I'm Dave Wood, President and CEO of Willamette Community Bank. We believe you deserve better service without sacrificing a thing. So if you're feeling underserved, make the switch to the best banking option out there. Willamette Community Bank, service like no other, we promise. Member FDIC.
Hi, this is Shelley Garrett. The Lebanon Chamber of Commerce is excited to bring you the first annual Antique Appraisal Clinic, Saturday, September 29th at Central Willamette Community Credit Union, 625 5th Street. Everyone has something they've always wondered what the value was. An old picture or a book, jewelry, or furniture. We've invited Gary Germer, one of Portland's leading antique, fine art, and personal property appraisers, to come to Lebanon and appraise your collectibles. Thanks to sponsor Central Willamette Insurance Agency and KSHO AM 920, we'll have refreshments, and not only will the audience be entertained by Gary's appraisals, but the show will also be broadcast live on KSHO. Look around the house and bring the items you'd like appraised. The cost is only $5 for 2 items.
This is Gary Germer. Please join me as we appraise Lebanon's treasures Saturday, September 29th.
The Antique Appraisal Clinic, September 29th from 9 a.m. to noon at Central Willamette Community Credit Union, 625 North 5th, across from Pioneer School in Lebanon.
Do you suffer from tender, red, swollen, or bleeding gums? Is there a bad taste or odor from your mouth? And have you noticed any loose teeth or new spaces between them? Then you may have gum disease, which could contribute to diabetes or even heart disease. Ready for help? It comes from Dr. Dennis Clark. You see, Dr. Clark's skillful use of laser periodontal therapy has dramatically healed bleeding, swollen gums. Among the hundreds of Mid-Valley patients is Tim Thorson of Corvallis.
It's much quicker. The discomfort is much less. Recovery time is quicker. You don't leave with your mouth full of gauze. There's just no way to describe how much better it is.
Simply put, gently applied laser light removes bacteria and diseased tissue. which means less pain, less bleeding, less swelling, and less recovery time so you can get back to a normal routine. For a free consultation about the no-cut, no-sew, no-fear solution for gum disease, call the Laser Dentist, Dr. Dennis Clark in Lebanon at 451-1440 or toll free at 866-351-5453.
Less hype, just quality news, sports, and smart talk. From your friends at 1580 KGAL.
And this is Valley Talk. I'm Dave Adams. Glad to have you with us today. And Mike McCarter, I like to shoot. And Mike's with us in the studio today. He's the range master of the Albany Pistol and Gun Club. Mike, thanks for being with us on Valley Talk today. We're going to have more about sight-in days as everybody getting ready for the hunting season, talk more about what's going on at Albany Pistol and Gun Club. We'll do that here in about 10 minutes. But thanks for being on the show again today.
Thank you. Thanks for the invite.
Janet Steele is with the Albany Area Chamber of Commerce, president of the organization. Continue with our conversation for her. One of the projects that the Albany Chamber is involved with is young professionals. Very excited to see that. Mentoring young people in various walks of life, and in this area, business, about how to be good business people
Right.
and be successful.
How to offer them opportunities that fit their generation. And when we say young professionals, we're saying 40 and under, or in the case of some of the meetings we have, the speakers that we have, anybody that feels like they're 40 and under. So I am often there. Just
I was gonna say,
I don't make
I
it,
got
but
a waiver.
I feel like I'm under 40.
I feel like I'm under 40
See,
too.
all of you could be there. So it's a great opportunity for those young professionals to come together, and the speakers that we have aren't always young, so they can come from all walks of life and things that we're doing. Their next event, next speaker they're having is somebody that I kind of felt my staff had chosen just for me, because it's called Controlling Workplace Clutter, which it's good to learn how to do that when you're young, because at my age, I don't know if I can be taught how, but she's going to try, and I will be there. It's a speaker that everyone can learn from, because we all have offices, whether they're home-based or inside, and unless you work for a financial institution, you're maybe not required to leave with a clean desk at the end of the day. So on Wednesday, October 10th at 11:45 a.m. at the Phoenix Inn, we will have Christine Burlinson with Queen Bee Organizing, and she's going to be in there to talk about how to clean up your office, I guess.
Very interesting. I talked to her at one of the extravaganza events we did. It has some very interesting tips about how to keep your office uncluttered.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see what she can tell me.
Yeah, I could probably learn a thing or two from her, because speaking about office clutter, you know where everything is.
Not necessarily.
Okay,
I mean, when I go into somebody's office and it's all cluttered, I'm already on the defensive.
Oh, I'm not.
I'm sorry.
When I go into my office and it is already cluttered, I know which pile it is, but I don't have enough file cabinets or enough space, and I'm a very visual person, so I have my list, and I also know where my files
Well, now, if I know you personally or outside and you have a clutter, that's different. But if I just come in cold and I've just met you and I see stuff, then it's like, well, not very well organized. Not to say that I am either, but,
Okay.
Well, good perspective.
There you go. But young professionals, I love to see you imparting wisdom and having some of the older speakers or the more mature people.
Exactly.
More
And
experience.
we do this 4 times a year, specifically for the young professionals. And we do a women in business group 4 times a year, specifically for women in business. But those same demographics, those same people are involved in a whole lot of other things that we do. They'll be at the extravaganza, they'll be at the membership forums, they'll be at business after hours tonight. But it offers an opportunity for the young pros to get together and have some discussion on topics of interest that are maybe more specific to their age group. So, and we've all, I can speak for everybody here, we've all transitioned through that, and there are some times you just need to talk to somebody else your own age. So we offer that opportunity.
It's great to see young professionals as an outreach here in the Albany Area Chamber of Commerce, because as we mentioned a moment ago, small business is very important. It is the engine. You were mentioning statistics of about 80%
or higher
of the businesses in the Albany area are small business. And especially right now, if you're a young person trying to start a business, it's challenging.
You bet.
Health insurance costs, taxes, all the laws, all the regulations you have to deal with. great opportunity to talk with people that
Yes.
might be more experienced.
Being an entrepreneur at any age is a life-changing experience, and so to make it more attractive, more beneficial, and a success, organizations like our Young Pros or Women in Business or the forums or leadership opportunities that we have really do help.
Let's talk about a few other things for that the Albany Area Chamber of Commerce is involved in. First of all, let's talk about your position on a couple of ballot measures, 84 and 79.
Yeah, we have a very active governmental affairs committee. We have two levels at the chamber. We're very active in governmental affairs. We take positions on local, state, and even federal ballot measures or legislation. And then we have what's called the Good Government Council, which is our PAC that endorses candidates. And later this week, we'll be coming out with our endorsements at the city council level for Lynn County Commissioner and for House District 15. So we are very involved. It takes a lot of what I do with the chamber is making sure that we're very connected to the roles and activities, what's happening in government and how it might affect business. And two of the ballot measures that we've already taken a position on, and we're letting our members know, and certainly I'd like the public to know too. Mm-hmm. The first one is on the phase out of Oregon's death tax or the estate tax for small business owners, for our local farmers, et cetera. This is huge because so many times when you're trying to keep that family business open, that farm in the family, and someone passes away and it causes the estate tax to happen, a lot of times farms have to sell, businesses have to sell, members lose those ties that their mom and dad or grandparents worked so hard for. So we are in huge support of the phase out of the estate tax, or what we're calling the Oregon death tax. That's Measure 84 on the ballot. People I know will be getting their ballots in October, so we're saying support ballot measures 84, phase out the estate tax, and please save or help us save the small businesses in the Oregon.
Now, Oregon is one of the few states that still has a death
One of
tax,
the few
aren't they?
states west of Mississippi that still has it, you bet. I'm not sure. You've got a whole lot more states back there, but more and more states are phasing this out. I think there's 21 that have phased it out in the last 5 years. If I'm speaking, I don't have those notes in front of me. But more and more of us are recognizing how important it is to save those small family businesses, the small family farms, et cetera. And if one way to do it is by phasing out the estate tax.
Yeah, that I don't know how you, John, feel about the estate tax or the death tax, but let's say you've got a family farm that's been in the family for maybe 100 years or 75 years. All that happens, they want to continue the farm, but all that happens is the principal dies.
Right.
And they want to continue
they've
the
paid
business?
taxes all the year, property taxes on those farms and small businesses throughout the years. And now because the owner has passed away, and he has left it to his children or wife or whatever, now they want another tax.
Yeah, all of a sudden the state comes knocking on the door saying, I want some money.
Yeah, I grew up on a farm just like that. My dad's elderly. He spent his whole life now to save up enough money to pay the taxes when he dies. I can't think of anything less fair than the death tax.
Yeah, especially at that time in their life. You know, they've got this huge emotional thing they're dealing with, and now all of a sudden it becomes a financial burden as well.
And may I say, those farmers, they feed their cattle on Christmas. They don't get New Year's off. You know, they work every day. Nobody works harder than a farmer.
I grew up in a farming, ranching background, so I definitely would totally agree.
You know how to milk a cow, don't you?
Yeah.
I know how. Have I done it? No.
Not lately, but I did. I knew.
I know how to feed a cow.
Yeah,
For sure.
79.
Measure 79 has to do with the preemptive strike against a transfer tax on homes. There are some states that have tried to put on a transfer tax, which is a tax when you sell your home that the buyer would then have to pay a new tax. And again, this home has already been paying property taxes, et cetera. And this is a new, it's a preemptive strike against putting on that strike or that tax. We're trying to save home ownership. The small home buyer that's buying at $120,000, which is a small home here in Albany, and now they have to pay a percentage of a tax. And we're saying we don't want that. We want to continue to have a strong home ownership base here in Oregon, and we don't want to have the transfer tax. So again, we're asking people to support ballot measure 79 and vote yes to stop the new tax that may come down.
Okay. Jana, we have just a few more minutes in the show. Let's again remind people about Business After Hours tonight If you're a non-member with the Albany Area Chamber of Commerce, it's $10. What's the time and where's it going to be?
It's 5:15 at Extreme Graphics. They do need to pre-register.
Okay.
You can walk through the door, but we try to give Extreme Graphics numbers since they are providing the food and drinks. So you can call the office at 541-926-1517 right now and register over the phone. You can walk in the door too, but again, we're kind of encouraging pre-registration so that we can give the correct numbers to Extreme Graphics.
Since we're opening the door for pre-registration today, what time would you like them to call by?
We normally like by 3 o'clock so that we can get done. We have name tags for everybody that comes to help those people know who they're talking with so that they can do their networking and build relationships.
Great. And Business Extravaganza, a chance for you to come at the Lynn County Fairgrounds, the 26th, find out all the great opportunities to buy merchandise and services.
Wednesday, September 26th. Again, we'll kick it off with the luncheon, and Craig Hanneman is the speaker, and from 1 to 6:30 we have the big extravaganza. And as I said, now we have more booths already than we did last year, and we're hoping that more will even show up. So come out and see what local products and services Albany has to offer.
Great. Anything else you want to add about what's going on with the Albany Area Chamber that we haven't talked about yet?
There's always stuff to add, but I'll come back.
Well, please do. And what's your website once again?
AlbanyChamber.com.
Okay. Janet Steele, president of the Albany Area Chamber of Commerce. When we come back on Valley Talk, we are going to be talking about guns. So if you're a guy like me and you like to do some shooting, Albany Pistol and Gun Club is having sight-in days. It's going to be coming up, I believe... When is it coming up, Mike?
This next weekend is the last weekend.
This next weekend is last weekend. More about that in just a moment as Valley Talk continues.
The Osgood File, sponsored in part by Cassidy Turley, where excellence starts with market knowledge and ends with client success. Discover excellence in commercial real estate. Discover Cassidy Turley. This is Charles Osgood. For all the wonderful advances in medicine in recent years, no sure cure has been found for malaria. Malaria is caused by a parasite carried by the female Anopheles mosquito. Present drugs either don't always work, or the parasite develops resistance to them. Now, from the University of Cape Town in South Africa comes word of a new drug that does kill the parasite, effectively curing the disease. Leading the research team is Professor Kelly Chibali.
What we found was that this molecule we've discovered is far superior in terms of actually curing animals infected with the malaria parasite, just with a single low dose of the drug.
The story after this. When you go to the post office, you sometimes have to wonder if you're ever going to get anything else done that day. So skip the trip to the post office and just do what I do. Use Stamps.com. With Stamps.com, you buy and print official U.S. postage for any letter or package using your own computer and printer. Get everything from stamps to shipping labels the instant you need it, 24/7. Then just hand your mail to the mailman. You'll never have to go to the post office again. I know Stamps.com will make your life easier because it's made my life easier. I've been using it at my office for years now. Right now, Stamps.com has a special offer since you listen to the Osgood File. It's a no-risk trial with a $110 bonus that includes a digital scale and up to $55 in free postage, but only if you use my last name, Osgood. So, go to Stamps.com, and first thing you do, click on the radio microphone at the top of the home page and type in Osgood, O-S-G-O-O-D. That's Stamps.com, and enter Osgood. The hospitals of Africa are now crammed with malaria patients. Hundreds of thousands of them die from the disease each year. But the new drug developed at the University of Cape Town has only been used in laboratory animals, mice, so far. The scientists there have checked and double-checked.
We check the purity, and then we retest on the parasite, and we retest on normal cells. And then that allowed us to confirm that what we saw from this was genuine.
The next step is getting approval for clinical trials on humans. Professor Lucille Bloomberg of South Africa's National Institute for Communicable Diseases is optimistic. In 18 months of research, the parasite showed no sign of developing resistance to it.
It's a new class of drugs, so cross-resistance with existing malaria drugs to which the parasite may develop resistance at some time is not going to be a problem, and seems to be a very potent drug.
It's very promising, but the approval process is painfully slow. We're told it could be 5 years or more before the new malaria drug can be put on the market. The Osgood File. Charles Osgood on the CBS Radio Network.
30-20 touchdown! Seahawks! Browner with the pick. He goes 100 yards.
Monday Night Football comes to town as the powerful Green Bay Packers invade CenturyLink Field. Hi, this is Steve Rabel. Join Warren Moon and me next Monday. Pre-game at 4:30, pick at 5:30. Right here on the Seahawks Radio Network.
The crunch of pads, the clash of helmets. The Seattle Seahawks are on News Talk 1580, KGAL.
We're kicking off the season with the best deals of the year. It's the Built Ford Tough Truck event. Time to get the most for your money with Ford F-Series. Great power and amazing fuel economy means no compromises. And that's what you get in a truck built Ford Tough. Like Ford F-150. With a powerful and efficient EcoBoost engine, you get the power you want and the economy you need. Or Ford Super Duty with its amazing 6.7-liter Power Stroke turbo diesel. Super Duty's got everything you need to get the job done, and then some. So if you're looking for power, payload, towing, and economy, your local Ford store has got the truck that's right for you. And with Built Ford Tough Truck event deals, there's never been a better time to buy. We're talking big-time savings on a huge selection of America's best-selling trucks. If you're ready for a great deal on a new Ford F-150 or looking to get to work in a new Ford Super Duty, this is your chance to save. So don't miss the Built Ford Tough Truck event going on now at your local Ford store.
Clarity over agreement. Expected from Dennis Prager, weekday mornings at 9 on Smart Talk 1580.
And this is Valley Talk. Hello, glad to have you with us today. I'm Dave Adams. Again, a note, we are video recording Valley Talk, and you can catch it on our website, KGAL.com, sometime this afternoon as we get our webmaster to upload the video from the show. So you can also see it and hear it once again in case there's something you want to listen to or maybe you missed part of the show. Thank you for Janet Steele of the Greater Albany Chamber of Commerce for being with us on the show, the Albany Area Chamber of Commerce for being with us on Valley Talk today. Right now, Mike McCarter is with us. He's the range master of the Albany Rifle and Pistol Club, and they're having Hunter Sight-In Days. Mike, thanks for being with us on Valley Talk.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak.
So tell me about Sight-In Days. I guess it's the last weekend to do that.
Yeah, you know, it's a thing that every person who hunts, hunting, you know, for big game comes once a year normally in the fall, and the gun sits in the closet all the rest of the year and gets knocked around or bumped and whatnot, and every hunter has the responsibility of making sure that they have a clean kill if they're going out and hunting, and part of that is to make sure that their rifle shoots accurately at the time, so we provide that service for the community.
Is it free?
No, it runs $5 a rifle to do it, it's almost free.
That's nothing.
That's nothing.
Yeah. It's been that way for years.
Now, as we were off mic there, you were saying that the 65th anniversary, you're celebrating that this year of the Rifle and Pistol Club.
Yeah, Albany Rifle and Pistol Club started in 1947 in the bottom of Albany City Hall, and like I mentioned, until somebody shot around up through the floor past the secretary, that's where it was located, and in the mid-'60s, it moved out near Saddle Butte, the town of Shed, and that's where we're currently located.
I love these extra little tidbits about history.
Oh, there's a lot of history behind, most of the gun clubs out there.
I bet. That's interesting. The secretary decided it's time to move.
I don't know whose secretary that was, but she must have had some kind of pull.
I guess so. The gun show is coming up in September 22nd and 23rd.
That's this weekend. Yeah, it is Oregon's largest pure gun show out there right now, with over 440 tables of firearm-related guns, holsters, ammunition, that type of thing.
I was asking you off mic if you do the carried concealed classes.
We do. Albany Rifle and Pistol Club is a little bit different than most gun clubs across the state. Our nonprofit status is set up such that we're a community organization. So we do a lot of things for the community. You know, the Hunter Sight-In Days, the gun shows, the big Saddle Butte machine gun shoot. And monthly we do the Oregon Concealed Handgun License class and the Utah Concealed Firearm class.
Have you noticed an increased interest in that because there are some that are concerned that the right to keep and carry arms as far as concealed weapons might be somewhat impinged by some folks because of all the shootings that have occurred across the country?
I think it's more a situation where people are realizing that The police cannot be there to protect them all the time. And even though our Second Amendment rights given to us through the government states that we have the right to bear arms to protect ourselves or to just bear arms, that is a God-given right. That is not given by any government or anything to us. So we have that right to protect ourselves at all times. And that involves, if you want to carry a firearm, then you can go ahead and carry a firearm. But the way that the state system is set up, that you must have a license to do that if you're going to carry it concealed.
I don't know, John, what's your take on carrying?
I think gun rights are always under attack. I think I think I heard a story the other day that we have all these veterans coming home and they're being diagnosed with PTSD.
Right.
Well, part of that diagnosis, they lose their right to have a gun. So we're disarming our veterans when they come home through a sign of a paper. They don't tell the veterans when they sign that piece of paper that part of this is you're going to lose your right to bear arms. So that infuriates me.
Well, part of the problem with that also is, let's say a veteran has some PTSD issues that they really need help with, but they don't want to lose the right to carry. Maybe they're a hunter. Maybe they've been born in the Northwest and they like to carry that sidearm or whatever. So they're not going to admit they have the issue and not get help for it because of the possibility of losing.
Well, and they do these charades, like the Fort Hood shooter was workplace violence. That was a terrorist attack. That wasn't somebody who just lost it. He wanted to do that, but they don't call it a terrorist attack. Yeah. You know, just like last weekend, we had 3 terrorist attacks. Have you heard anything about that? No. We hear about Mitt Romney making a blunder saying 47% of the people are on welfare and won't vote for him. That's all you're going to hear. So I think it's very serious that we pay a strict attention to First Amendment right and Second Amendment rights.
Yeah, I personally, I'm a supporter of the right to keep and bear arms. And when you talk about a theater shooting, if somebody in there had a weapon, the shooter would have been stopped.
Yep.
But you know that we're prohibited from carrying in that theater.
But see, the issue there, now I'm getting on my soapbox here a little bit, is that you're basically, it's a massacre. If you don't have anybody in there that's able to protect themselves, you got a guy coming in with an automatic weapon, and it's shooting fish in a barrel. And we have got to have the right to protect ourselves. This is just my opinion, and normally I don't like to.
But the government uses examples like that to justify taking away our rights, you know?
But if you take away those rights, the person that really wants to commit the crime is going to get a gun.
Right.
Well, you can use the example of the drug laws. You know, the drug laws are out there. They're trying to enforce them. But the legal people, the people that care about the law, are the ones that are abiding by it, and the people who have no regard for the law are the ones that are abusing it. And it'll happen the same thing with firearms. You know, it'll go underground, and it'll be a big problem if that were to happen.
Hopefully that won't happen. So let's change gears here a little bit. Rifle and Pistol and Club. I have Albany Rifle and Pistol Club. Hunter Sight-In Days, once again, is when?
It's this coming weekend from 9 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's both Saturday and Sunday, going on at the same time as the gun show. We do this the entire month of September on every weekend, except for the last weekend, which this particular year, deer season opens up. So most of the guys who help put on Hunter Sight-In Days at the club, they're gone. They're up in the mountains. They're hunting and stuff. And so it's tough for those people who elk hunt. They better get in and get their rifles sighted in now, this coming weekend. Otherwise, there's no other times for this to take place.
What other opportunities are there at the Rifle and Pistol Club for activities? When is your shooting? Do you have a set time for members to come out and shoot, or?
Well, Albany Rifle and Pistol Club is a membership club where members can bring guests as often as they want at no extra charge, and as many of them as they want. The club is open 365 days a year to members from 7 in the morning till 9 at night. They have an electronic gate card. They come in. They don't have to check in. They don't have to schedule their time. And there are 85 acres there at the club, and we have 6 shooting ranges, rifle range, shotgun range, indoor 22 air rifle, 12 covered shooting bays for any type of firearm that 25-yard bays. And a year and a half ago, we added a archery range with a permanent 3D walkthrough, 4-acre archery range, and sight-in range for bow and arrow.
What's the dues cost?
When you join the club, it's a little steep in the beginning, or at least I think it is. It's $237 to start for the first year. After 1 year, it drops to $139. Or if you put in 12 hours of help at any of our functions, like hunter sight-in days, or gun show, or machine gun shoot, or any of our work parties, it drops to $64 a year, which is pretty cheap. It's set up that if you're committed to belong to a gun club, this is probably the finest gun club in the Northwest right now.
Okay. You have a website?
Yes, www.arp, as in Paul, C as in Charlie, .info, I-N-F-O.
Now, shooting sports, I think of it as a sport. In fact, I did competition shooting when I was in high school and junior high school. Every week, every Wednesday night, we went out and did competition shot 22 long rifle. And it's fun. It's a sport.
There's 13 different shooting sports that are going on out there right now, all the way from Old West and black powder shooting to full auto for those people that have a full auto or want to put their hands on one, on a monthly basis. There's trap shooting. There's a 5-stand, which is a cross between trap and sporting clays, where you're confined in the trap area. The archery, there's handgun, there's bowling pin shoots, there's steel challenge shoots. There's all kinds of different competitions going on out there.
Sounds like fun.
Well, most people look at a gun club and think it's a bunch of good old boys, or it might be just for hunters. No, they're just recreational firearms.
I know lots of women that carry.
Oh, yeah. There's a brand new discipline called Nail It, which is women only. On the third Saturday morning, they get together, and I don't go near the place. I mean, the giggling and the laughing and the fun that's going on there, you can get it all the way across the range.
You wouldn't picture them. I came across, somebody had hit a deer, and there was like 5 cars, and they were all women. And the deer was still struggling, And so somebody called 911. And I said, God, I wish I had a gun, we could just put it out of its misery. Yeah. The littlest lady in the very back said, I have a gun. And she pulled out this little tiny gun. And she goes, I can't do it. So I leaned down and I shot it in the head, But I gave her the gun back. And you know what? I bet if somebody scared that little lady, she'd at least have, the nerve to pull that out and shoot the guy,
We have lady basic pistol classes that go on out there because the ladies want to know how to shoot. If they're going to buy a gun, they want to know how to do it. And traditionally, ladies are better shots than guys.
Interesting. I wonder why that is.
They take more time to line the sights up. I think it has something to do with patience sometimes, Guys tend to want to shoot fast. Ladies don't care about the speed, but they care about accuracy.
They want to hit which is important.
I ain't going up against them. There's no way at all. But,
now, one of the things that just occurred to me was that if you buy a gun and maybe get a carry concealed permit to carry it with you, this might be offensive to some people, but you need to know how to use it. And the thing that John Gibson just mentioned a moment ago, and I've heard this mentioned so many times from people, is, well, I'm going to scare them off with a gun. I carry a gun to scare them. If you carry a gun, carried concealed, and you're attacked, you need to be prepared to use it, because the person attacking you might, once they get that gun away from you, you're dead. So you need to be able to use it and be willing to use it. Now, again, this is offensive for some people to hear, but it's important you hear it.
I think it's offensive to the people who have never been traumatized by an event. I think once you have been robbed or once you have been threatened or scared, I think that kind of goes away. But I think you have to experience the fact that there's bad people out there before you get to that point, and that gets lots of people hurt.
Yeah. What are your thoughts?
We're a society that is not around a lot of violence. So when we come across this, it stops us dead in our tracks. I mean, you just look at it and you go, I can't believe that this is happening to me or this is going on.
Right.
When I teach the Oregon Concealed Handgun License class, the first thing I say right off the bat is if you can't, in a situation like that, feel that you can't draw your gun and shoot somebody to protect yourself, your family, or a third party, then don't get the license, don't get the gun. Because if you're going to try to bluff them, it's probably going to be turned on you and used against you.
Mm-hmm. So that's very important for you to hear, because I've heard so many instances of where people are killed with their own gun because they were going to use it to scare the other person. Well, it didn't scare them. They just got the gun away from you. So if you're pointing it at somebody and you won't pull the trigger, they'll get it from you and you're the victim.
In Oregon, according to the statutes, if you point a gun at somebody to shoot or to warn or to whatever the case, if it's not for your protection of your own life, then you're in violation of the law. You cannot do that. Once you point it, you've stepped over a line there where you are almost the aggressor, unless it's for, I was afraid for my life. And if you point it, you're ready to pull a trigger.
In Oregon, that's the key then? What if you're wanting to protect someone else?
Most of the instructors will teach us, they talk about some situations. We're not law. We're not trying to pretend to be law. Mm-hmm. We don't always know what's going on.
Right.
And most of the time we say, don't step into a situation like that. And when you're talking scenarios and things like that, it's very hard to have a concrete shoot here, don't shoot here. In most cases, you've got to be there, you've got to see what's going on, you've got to feel what's happening and whatnot. But bottom line, you do not want to shoot somebody.
So baseline, you see a man beating a woman.
Thank you for saying that, for first of all.
Yeah. You see a man beating a woman. You certainly wouldn't pull your gun to get him to stop doing that. But if you rush in and tackle him to get him off of her, he could reach around and get your gun, and now you're in trouble. So what would you do in a case like that?
It's a situation where you don't know whether this, in a particular case, whether if it's a beating type situation, yes, you're going to get involved probably to do it. But if it's somebody taking somebody down or somebody trying to arrest somebody, you don't know if it's undercover police. You don't know exactly what's going on there. And when you jump into it, you also don't know if there's a third party or extra people that are involved in this situation, and you may really be putting yourself and other people in danger. So to have a concrete answer and say, yeah, I'm going to jump in and do something about this, you've got to be there. A situation happened end of April in Salt Lake City. Mm-hmm. A man went into a shopping mall, into a store, bought a knife, came out, and started cutting people. Just started slashing. And a person with a concealed firearm permit for Utah drew his firearm and told this person, drop the knife and get on the ground or I'll shoot. The guy responded, did the same thing, got on the ground and everything and stopped the situation. Well, that's one way. But if you're drawing a gun and you're telling somebody to do this and it happens to be an undercover police officer, then you've got a problem there. But
was that guy legal in Utah because was his life threatened?
His life wasn't threatened, but a third party's life was threatened. So you could step in there.
What about in Oregon? If that same situation happened in Oregon?
Same thing. Okay. You could do the same thing there, but you have to be really careful.
Oh boy!
Because there's no right and wrong answers to this. And if you're involved in a shooting, you're probably going to be involved in a court case.
And look what happened to that kid. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, we need to take a break right now. Valley Talk will continue in just a moment.
Well, I like to see what the farmers brought from the fields around to the market lot. Seems every week it's a different crop down at the farmers market. Down at the farmers market, the best berries and cherries you've ever seen. Sweet corn, tomatoes, peaches and beans, and cider and pumpkins for Halloween. Down at the farmers market. Down at the farmers market.
The Corvallis Albany Farmers Markets are now open every Saturday in the City Hall parking lot at 4th and Ellsworth in downtown Albany and on the north end of the riverfront in downtown Corvallis. And every Wednesday from 9 a.m. till 1 p.m. Again at the north end of the riverfront in downtown Corvallis. Enjoy live music, a large variety of locally grown farm products, and for more info, log on to locallygrown.org.
At the farmers market, friends and neighbors gather round. At the farmers market, see what can be found. There's fruit from the orchards and produce from the ground. And you can meet the folks who grew it when the farmers come to town.
Wearing glasses with Crizal lenses can make a big difference in your vision. Because neither rain, nor snow, nor dust and dirt, nor smudges, or even the toughest scratches, nor the glare of oncoming traffic can keep your lenses from giving you the clearest vision possible. KGAL lenses. Live life in the clear. That's CRIZAL. KGAL. Ask for them at your eye care professional.
In the nation, trees fall, traffic lights fail, ceilings come down, and brakes lock up. And when the you-know-what hits the fan, Nationwide Insurance hits the ground running. Because you're not just our first priority, you're our only priority. We put members first because we don't have shareholders. Call 1-877-NATIONWIDE today.
Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and Affiliates, Columbus, Ohio, subject to underwriting guidelines, review, and approval.
Now's your chance to get in on all the hair-raising, action-packed princess fun. Disney on Ice presents Dare to Dream. Watch as Rapunzel lets down her golden hair to tangle with the dashing Flynn Rider and the hilarious Maximus. Go on a mystical adventure through the bayous of Louisiana as Tiana kisses the frog prince Naveen and gets royally jazzed. And become enchanted with Cinderella as she makes her dreams come true. Together for the first time ever, all the Disney princesses you love in a spectacular ice show. Bring your royal family to the ultimate princess event of a lifetime in your hometown. Disney on Ice presents Dare to Dream.
The magic begins at $17 per ticket. Additional fees may apply. See roseporter.com for details. Experience a spectacular Disney adventure at Disney on Ice presents Dare to Dream. Coming to the Rose Garden October 25th through 28th.
Want to really know more? Just point, click, and learn from the Mid-Valley's best website, KGAL.com.
Valley Talk, Dave Adams. Interesting conversation this morning. Thank you to Mike McCarter of the Albany Rifle and Pistol Club for being with us on the program today. Mike, a couple of minutes left. Let's talk about sighting days. Once again, date, time, how much?
Yeah, it's the last weekend is this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, 9 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, $5 per rifle. Come on. Make sure that rifle shoots straight before you step out into the woods. Humane kill, that's important. Get your sights on, get your finger on the trigger. And
that's always been the most important part to any hunter, a clean kill.
Absolutely.
If people want to get involved in the Albany Rifle and Pistol Club dues, how do they do that? What's your website?
Yeah, the website is www.arpc.info.
And the gun show this weekend.
Gun show this weekend, Oregon's largest. 6,000 people show up for the gun show, and it's getting bigger every year.
Looking forward to it. And what's the cost of it?
$5 to get in. Unless you're a member, it's free.
And the hours for the gun show this
9
weekend?
to 5 on Saturday, 9 to 4 on Sunday.
John, we haven't had a lot of time to talk about. You mentioned something during the break about how much debt, how much the United States government has paid on our debt in this last hour.
$158 million.
$158 million just to pay for the debt.
For 1 hour.
That's the interest on the debt. Right.
No, that's what we're borrowing to pay for all these programs and everything. All the welfare, all the everything. So that's to pay for the $1.6 trillion budget, I believe it is now. Even though it's not really a budget because it was never passed, it's just kind of like they just print more money. We don't have a budget.
Unrest in the Middle East. We've only got 60 seconds.
33 nations are having they've held onto this video, which is just a pipe scam. They've held onto this video until 9/11. Then they played it all over the Egypt TV by the Muslim Brotherhood, instigated the riots. The thing in Libya was planned. It was an inside job. 20 people went to a safe house. They had already got the guy out of there. 20 Al-Qaeda people went to the safe house, our territory, murdered 4 people, and we're calling it nothing. We're not calling it a terrorist attack at all because it seems as if we're making time for the Muslim Brotherhood leader, I think his name is Mossari. Obama's making time to meet with him, but he told Bibi Netanyahu, we don't have time to meet. So
okay, some thoughts for today. This is Valley Talk. I'm Dave Adams. Make it a great day.